You guys, the flu 2019. I'm gonna tell you guys everything that I've just been going through the past 9 days and just kind of fill you in on everything. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. If you guys are not following me over on Instagram, then you may not have been keeping up with my journey this past week. I did indeed catch the flu type B. And I know for sure because I went to the doctor and they put that thing way up my nose into my brain, basically scraped my brain to find out that I did test positive for the flu. I'm gonna tell you guys everything that happened. It was actually pretty crazy because obviously nothing that I do in my life can be just normal. I can't just get the flu, get sick, be in the bed, right? No, not Christina, not me. I did want to thank you guys before I get into this story. If you've never had the flu, I'm going to tell you guys what happened to me. But I did want to thank you guys for hanging with me and being so patient with me. I was so sick, like so sick. And if you guys are on here, subscribed here, and you keep up with the community tab, if you go to my page, like, okay, you go to like my page here, Christina Randall, and then up there at the top where it says like videos, playlist, there's a tab that says community. And if anytime I'm going to be sick or something's happened or whatever, I will always try to update you guys there. A lot of y'all did see my update there letting you guys know that I was sick. So I never want to leave you guys out of the loop unless I just absolutely have no other choice. I'm always thinking about you guys and I appreciate you guys. So let's talk about what happened. Now, I have never had the flu before. My dad actually told me that I had the flu when I was a little girl, but I don't remember that. And this all took me by surprise. So what happened was last Tuesday evening, if you guys don't know, my husband travels for work. He's out of town a lot. And so during the week, it's mainly me, my baby boy, and all of our cameras and security system. Don't get crazy. And it was Tuesday night, and you know, I had started developing a cough, but the weather's changing, so I didn't really think too much of it, right? Like a lot of the times when the weather changes, I live in Florida and it got really, really cold here. It's cold here now. It's actually really nice being chilly for once, but it got really, really cold. So I started developing a cough, but I didn't pay any attention to it. You know, it's just kind of like one of those things when you just kind of get a cough or you kind of get the sniffles. And I still don't know if those two things make a difference, but I did not have the sniffles. I only had a cough. Well, Tuesday night, I laid down with Jaden to go to sleep. And I woke up in the middle of the night with you guys, a headache, but not a headache, okay? It's not, a headache is like, ow, painful, let me take some Tylenol, let me lay down. This was literally like my brain was exploding from the front of my head. I would sit up and I was crying in my sleep. I was laying there crying. I could barely get comfortable. I remember at some points that like Jaden was like waking up, rubbing my back saying, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I didn't even know how to handle it. My head was hurting me so bad and I was pouring sweat, but I was freezing at the same time. So I'm under the covers, I'm soaking wet. The sheets are soaking wet where I'm laying. My shirt, I could feel it like sticking all under my boobs. You know how it is, ladies, when we got boobs and we're sweating, it's like a puddle, okay? And I'm telling you guys, I was miserable, but my head was what was killing me. Like anytime I moved or anything, it just was throbbing. And listen, you guys, not throbbing like a headache, throbbing like my brain was exploding from the front of my head. I was literally crying in my sleep. So I get up the next morning and my head is just sore and tender. Like I had been like hit in the head with a baseball bat or something. I got Jaden on the bus, and I immediately, as soon as my doctor's office opened, I called them and made a sick appointment and went in. And anybody that knows me knows that for me to go to the doctor or to the emergency room or something, it is like last minute. Like I will grind out whatever I can to avoid having to pay to see a doctor or anything like that. Matter of fact, there was about 5 years of my life that I did not even see an MD doctor. I only saw a naturopath. So whatever. So the doctors give me an appointment for like in a couple hours. It was like at 11 o'clock. And I was so miserable from my head hurting all night long that I could barely even get dressed. I was literally in my jammies. I put on a robe and some sunglasses, and I put the cap of the robe over my head because the sun, anything was like hurting my head. Anything, just about anything. But I knew I needed to get to the doctor. I didn't know what was going on because, you know, it's like, you know, a cough, a sniffle, throw up, you know, diarrhea, whatever you may get. Like I can handle all those things, but this pain that I was having in my head really scared me. So I went into the doctor's office, and immediately they tested me for the flu. And they went, and I had my sunglasses on in the doctor's office. Like I could barely even like hardly get in there. I was like, ugh. Go in there, and I'd never been tested for the flu before, and they had this like long thing. It looked almost like an eyebrow brush, you know, those bristles, and she sticks it all the way up my nose into my brain. It does not feel good. It actually hurts. It's not super painful, but it's very uncomfortable. Up one side and up the next side. So this is the nurse coming in testing me before the doctor comes in to give me my results. So she tests me, she gets out of there. I'm literally in the chair in the doctor's office with the robe over my head, with my sunglasses on, like leaned up against the wall, like miserable. And the doctor comes in, poof, he's awesome. He's so funny. He's just a great guy. He kicks the door open, and he's got a mask on, and he opens it like this. He's like, "You've got the flu." He didn't even come in there. He's like, "You've got the flu." And he was like, "And you're gonna feel like for 2 weeks." I'm like, what? Like, like I said, I don't have time to have the flu. No. See, doctor, what you don't understand is I'm a mother, okay? I don't have time to have the flu. And he was like, "Christina, you've got the flu." He said, "I've called you in some prescriptions. You need to go to Publix, pick up your prescriptions, go home, get in a dark room, lay down, don't move." I'm like, what? Like, what? He was like, "You are going to feel like crap for weeks." And I'm thinking to myself, like, I can handle this, right? Like, I can handle this. Okay, let me go get my medicine, and I'm going to be able to handle this. So I drive up, I said, "How long until you call in the prescriptions?" He said, "I already did it." Before he even came into the room, he had called me in like all this crap, like the Tamiflu, the freaking cough syrup. It was like 5 or 6 different prescriptions. Like, I don't even know. So I get to Publix, I get a bunch of soups and stuff like that, some Pedialyte, and my prescriptions, and I go home. I'm going to be fine, right? I'm just going to take my medications. I'm going to be fine. You guys, this headache, I don't even know what to call it. If it's a migraine, if it was like, it was not a normal headache. It was like a head combustion. It was so painful. Started coming back. And I was just laying in a dark room. I'm like barely getting through, and I'm laying down, and I'm just like not understanding why I'm in so much pain. So that continues, and you know, the cough that I would have, which is like this deep, painful cough. If you've ever had the flu, then you know what I'm talking about. This cough is very painful. And see, some of the symptoms of the flu is like body aches, sweating, fever, chills, all this, that, there, and the other. But I'm thinking, like, I can handle the body aches, I can handle the back pain, the cough, whatever. But this head thing, I couldn't handle. So I go to sleep that night in the same exact thing, but I end up sleeping in the living room because it's like I could not get comfortable, and I had to like kind of sit up while I was sleeping. But I would go to sleep for 30 minutes, and I'd wake up, and I'd sit straight up. Well, I was already kind of sitting up, you know, I'm laid back on the couch, but I'd sit up, and in the middle of the night I'm going, ow, 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 and I'm like crying. But the more that I cry, the more that my head hurts. I feel like my temples are exploding. I feel like my head is exploding. My eyes hurt. Everything hurts. And like I barely get through the night, okay? And then I get Jaden on the bus. The next day comes anyways. By day 3, Jeremy gets home. And there was so many, like those 2 nights before the 3rd night, if Jeremy would have been home, if somebody would have been here with Jaden, I would have called 911 and called an ambulance to come and get me. That's how bad my head hurt. Like literally, I'm like, like just crying and sweating and like, why does my head feel like this, right? So by the time Jeremy gets home that night, I woke up in the middle of the night again, same thing. I'm like, I would try to like move around. I'd try to like lay my face down, and then it was like my forehead was just like throbbing. My eyes felt like they were popping out of my head. My head was just hurting so bad. I finally got up. I woke up Jeremy. I said, you got to take me to the emergency room. Something is really wrong with me. I don't know what it is, but this is day 3 and this is not normal. So he got up, got everything together, took me to the emergency room, and I went straight in and sat in the lobby. He handled everything, and like I could barely walk, you guys. My head hurt so bad. Like I would cry, but the pressure of crying, if I had to cough, I would have literally rather jumped off of a cliff than cough at that point. Because every time I coughed, my head, poof, and I'll be like, So they finally get me into the back. They hook me up with IVs, and then they start going through the whole process with me. They're trying to talk to me. Every time they try to talk to me, my head is exploding. I'm shaking. I'm convulsing. My head is hurting so bad. At this point, in the back of my mind, I can barely even communicate. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking I have a tumor. I'm thinking I have a brain aneurysm. My grandmother, the one that y'all know, her mother dropped dead in the kitchen when she was like, what, 50 or 60 years old from a brain aneurysm. She was just literally in the kitchen cooking and boom, dead. And so there's something wrong with me here. So anyways, they end up giving me like some Benadryl or whatever to calm me down, which was helpful because it calmed down like my anxiety or whatever, but the pain was still there. The doctor, oh my gosh, the nurses were so amazing. They were so gentle and so thorough, but they're like, you got to get a CAT scan. So they take me, I did a CAT scan, they did my blood work, and everything came back normal. There was no bleeding in my brain. There was no brain aneurysm, no anything like that that they could see from an actual CAT scan, okay? And my blood work, he said my blood work was great. And so then they ended up doing a spinal tap on me to see if I had meningitis, which I've had a spinal tap before. And if you've never had one, it is not fun. It's actually quite scary. So many things can go wrong. But what ended up happening was he had me sit in the bed and I had to hunch over like this and arch my back like this. And he goes down at the bottom in between like your little spinal things. I think, I'm not a doctor, I can't see back there, but this is the gist that I was getting from it. And they go into your spine and they drain out spinal fluid, which actually comes from your brain, okay? And then after they get that fluid, they test it, they look at the color, they do all that stuff, and then you have to lay down flat for like an hour plus, because if you don't lay down flat, so many things can go wrong. I actually have a very, very, very good friend of mine, Holly. Shout out to you, my girl, Holly. I'm gonna tell a little bit of your story. I won't tell too much. But she had a spinal tap before and something ended up going wrong and she was leaking brain fluid for a while and ended up having to go into the hospital, had to lay down on her back for 3 months because her brain was leaking fluid from that spinal tap. So it's a very scary procedure, but he ended up doing it. Everything looked good. I did not have meningitis or anything like that, but I was still in a lot of pain. What they ended up saying I was going through was dehydration from all of the sweating. I mean, when I tell you guys that first night, I was soaking wet, sweating. Like I'm talking about face stuck to my hair, stuck to my face, terrible. And I don't know about you guys, but if that type of pain comes from dehydration, oh my gosh, please let me know if any of you guys have had a dehydration headache before, because oh my gosh. Oh. So anyways, I ended up staying there for most of the day. They got me pretty calm. I was still very sore. My head was hurting a lot. And my husband ended up bringing me home, and I laid in a dark room. You guys, for the next 2 days, my head continued to hurt. And when I was in the hospital, they gave me 3 bags of fluid. And that is a lot of fluid, you know, when they give you IVs. And I was still hurting for days afterwards. It wasn't until about 3 days ago that my headache actually started to break. So today is day 9. So I'm gonna say a good 6 days I was in severe pain with my head. You know, the rest of it I could deal with, but whatever that was in my head, the dehydration headache that the flu caused, oh my goodness. I remember about 3 days ago when I had my last really painful bout, I was laying in the bed and I started getting nauseous to get sick. And you know, the last thing you want to do is throw up when you're already dehydrated, right? But I had the flu. I couldn't help it. I rushed to the bathroom and I grabbed the toilet. I got sick. And as I got sick, the pressure from getting sick made my head boom, explode again. I hit the floor in the bathroom. I'm shaking. I'm crying. I'm telling Jeremy, I'm like, Jeremy, like I'm going to have to go back to the, you can't leave. He was getting ready to go to work. I'm crying. I'm begging him. I'm like, you cannot go back to work. You cannot leave me like this. Like, I'm going to end up in the hospital again. Like, you cannot leave me. And thank God he was able to fix things to stay, because I was terrified of being home alone with Jaden with that type of thing going on. So I chugged a lot of water. I drank Pedialyte, and I laid in a dark room and I stayed away from everybody. And like I said, yep, eventually yesterday was the first day that my head was not killing me. I woke up in the morning and I was like, wow. The day before yesterday, I had like a 30-minute bout where my head wasn't hurting, but then it came back, and I actually jumped on Instagram and talked to you guys for a few minutes, and I was like, I think there's a light at the end of my tunnel. But the headache did end up coming back, not severely, but painfully. And then, you know, today I'm feeling better. I'm still not at 100%. I'm still not like, Christina, but... And that's what I'm saying, you guys. Like, as far as the flu, baby, I can handle the cough. I can handle the sweats, the fever, the body aches, whatever else you bring at me. But whatever that was, that dehydration headache, I was so scared, you guys. I was so scared. I was in so much pain, dude. It was crazy. It was so scary, so crazy. So that's what I've been going through the past 9 days. I am excited to get back into it. If you guys have not heard, I'm going to be doing a very special giveaway on my second channel, Casually Christina. If you guys are not subscribed, the link is in the description box. It's going to be coming out very soon. This particular giveaway is going to be dedicated to the single parents for the holidays. And by single parents, I mean just a mom that's raising her kids, or just a dad that's raising, you know, their kids, or just a grandma or a papa or a single. This is for the single parents. Me and Jeremy have been talking a lot, and we know how difficult it is during the holiday season, especially for everybody. Everybody gets stressed out. Everybody does. Everybody has those moments, unless you're just like a multimillionaire, billionaire, and you have no stress. If you do, good for you. You should be helping somebody. But for this one is going to be dedicated just for the single parents, okay? And I'll tell you guys why, more about that over on my second channel. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I'm excited to get back into it. Thank you guys for, so many of you guys told me that you guys were rewatching my videos while I was gone and just loving on me that way. So many messages, so many comments on my community post over there about me being sick. Just, I cannot thank you guys enough. I love you guys. And yeah, so thanks for your prayers and your good thoughts. And I'm excited to be back. So, as always, my loves, please don't forget to like this video. It's a free way that you can help your girl out And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are